All right, shalom, shalom, everybody. Welcome to House of Rest, where Yahusha is alive, alive, alive. And guys, I just welcome y'all to part 15 of Be Encouraged, Rock Kazaka Mots. And brothers and sisters, I tell you, I've been telling y'all about my son Zachariah, and it's funny because he's the second person that I heard say this that I know that have come in contact with the coronavirus, where when they go get checked, right, and do the test, they are told that it will take a certain amount of days to get it back. So I asked Zachariah when he did the test, how long did they say it was gonna be? And this time he told me, because another person told me it took 3 or 4 days for him to get his test back. But Zachariah said that they told him 10 to 14 days because the lab is backed up. So it leads me to wonder how, if the lab is backed up, that's just in Little Macon, Georgia, right? Little Macon, Georgia. The lab is backed up. So how is all these major cities, right, getting the responses back so quick for all these extra cases they are talking about, that is just popping up on a rapidly. And it's certain things that I know, guys, that the whole thing is pretty much, a pandemic. I get that, but I do believe that this man-made virus is real. And because my son was talking about his head, and he had a little soreness here and there. He was explaining to me the things that he was feeling going on with him. So I believe that he did have some issues going on there, but he called me because he knew instantly that Daddy was gonna pray with him. And so we said our prayer. And honestly, guys, every time I pray over somebody that is going through something or has some kind of pain or illness, it seems like it comes on to me, and then I end up praying about it or whatever, so that it can be fully gone, but y'all usually let me know that way, that the prayer of faith, that's healing, it's healing him. And and not saying that I'm taking any of his pain, but it say that the strong must bear the infirmities of the weak. So sometimes we have to be strong, especially for our children, And I said, well, son, I need you, to remember that you need to pray. He said, Dad, I've been praying. He said, I pray even, before this started, happening to me, I pray. So at least he know that, he know that he's supposed to pray. And so Yah is working on, working with my child. So I thank Yah for that he knows who to go to. He knows that it is Yah that gives him direction and who he needs to be directing everything to. I love the fact, though, our children, y'all know how it is. Our children will call us when they're in that dire need, and they know who could get the prayer through. We hear from all of our children all the time whenever they need, whenever it's something that they're trying to purchase, and like a house or something like that, they reach out and they, hey, can you pray for us? And then after we pray, they'd be like, this happened so quick and we got our answer. And I'm like, well, you need to give glory to him. Don't give it to us. We always give the glory back to Abba, because it isn't us that is doing anything. We are given the answer so that we can testify to his goodness. We could testify to others that it's him that is doing this and not us. It's always him. And regardless of how we see it and how we view things, we can't never we can't never take the glory for ourselves. It's always his glory. He said, I shall not share my glory with another, you know. And a lot of times things are presented to us just so that we could take it to him. And when we take it to him, you know, it opens their eyes to the realness of who we serve, right? Because at times I was a rebellious child, you know, and I didn't want to, you know, I had a stiff neck. I wasn't willing to, you know, it was always, you know, on things of my matters. It was never able to submit and humble myself and bow to him. You know, that's what it means when he says you have a stiff neck, meaning that you're not willing to bow, to show oblation, to show the worship to the rightful king, you know. And we had to remember that all the praise and honor goes to him. And so in this study, as we talk about being encouraged, guys, we had to remember that at a time, what we're about to read is they became rebellious. They started doing things on their own, and they began to do this walk in a manner where they was not trusting on y'all no more. They begin to depend on self, and they got used to the comforts of life. They got used to the comforts of everything being, you know, right there for them. And it's kind of like our generation, you know, the council generation, where, you know, if something don't move fast enough, oh, let me go get another phone. You know, this one don't move anymore, or battery died too quick. But I would like to throw this out there to that generation that just to let you know, or those anybody that is quick to run and jump and get the newest phone that comes out. I just want you to know that it's obsolete, just like every other product that you buy out there. You know what I mean? You can go get the newest phone and put yourself in debt some more, but guess what? The battery gonna die on that one too. I mean, that's just simple and plain. You got to charge them, and that's why, you know, they keep trying to make these phones where the charge lasts so long. Well, here's the secret, guys. When the new phone come out and they start having updates come forth, that's what causes your battery to die quicker. Now, I want you to look at it. I want you to look at this from a spiritual point of view, right? A spiritual point of view. Just like we run out and we get them new phones and we do this and we do that, we need to be waking up and looking at that new day as a day to get in our word, to pray, right? And so that we could be recharged. Just like we want that battery that's gonna last a long time, huh? That spirit is what we need to be constantly. We need to be fueling ourselves and cleansing ourselves through the word so that we're constantly renewed day by day. I mean, through his word, through prayer, right? Through fasting, through supplication. It is through making sure that as you get in that word, it revives. That's what our bread is, you know, our daily bread. It revives the soul. And so we want to be revived. We want to have that. We want to have that oneness with Yah. So when the Ruach moves, right, we're able to move according to the way that the Ruach is directing us. I don't want to be left in the wilderness. You know what I mean? When I see the pillar of cloud, the pillar of fire, that was the spirit, right? Moving. And so I want to move when the spirit move. I want to hear what he is, you know, what he's talking about. I don't want to be like the one that didn't get the message and everybody else did, right? Warning comes before destruction. And so I want to be able to hear it. But in rebellion, guys, you miss all that. So many times Jeremiah, Baruch, and different ones were praying. They were, you know, they were prophesying, and what happened each time? They was told, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, y'all ain't talking to you. He told us that this wouldn't happen. He told us that this ain't gonna happen. You know, you hear people say, oh, America ain't gonna come under judgment. Why not? They abort babies like on that was deemed an essential, right? Where the everything else was shut down, but you can still go in and get an abortion. Wow, ain't that something, right? So what we see in our society is a breakdown of you know, a breakdown of instruction, a breakdown of truth and of spirit, but to love lawlessness, to love iniquity, to love transgression. And so as we go forward and we see this is what happened to the children of Israel, they begin to love lawlessness. They begin to love, transgression and would trespass the word of Yah, thinking that, hey, nothing is going to happen because we're Yah's covenant people, right? We're the people that, he's going to protect us. He's going to take care of us. It's okay. He loves me, even though I'm a homosexual, he loves me. Yeah, that's true. But he hates the sin that's in you. He hates the sin that you portray, right? Because you're no longer, you're not bearing his image when you live an abomination. Not on, even to the man, that commits adultery, or to the woman that commits adultery. Yeah, he loves you, but he hates the sin that's within you. Even to the alcoholic, even to the person that knows the word and continues to dibble and dabble in ramby-pamby land, right? Want to continue to play around with different things other than being faithful to his word. And when I say play around with other things, I mean, still going out and partying in the club. I know people that go to church on Sunday and go to the club on Saturday, Friday and Saturday, and then they go to church on Sunday. And you know what they call it? Same way they say, I gotta go get my club on, they say I gotta get my church on. Simple as that. And y'all doesn't want that. You can't. He's not gonna share you with another. When sin is there, and you're, when you have opened up the door to sin, right? And it says that when sin concedes, then it brings forth death. And so we have to be careful, because once our lust is enticed, and it brings forth sin, and sin, when it is conceived, it brings forth death. And so that's something that we have to be careful on, because we see today more of what they call them protests, but we see more of a rebellion happening, right? A rebellion against the Constitution, a rebellion against amendments, a rebellion against, whatever, they just doing whatever they want to do now. And it's just gotten too far out of hand. So when you look at scripture, you kind of see that Yah is warning against this rebellion. He's warning that this type of rebelliousness only brings death. And so we have to be careful that we don't allow, death to enter into the camp. We don't want death in the camp. We want life. And just like Adam and Eve, they chose death over life when they chose the tree of knowledge, right? It was two trees in the midst, and yet they still went to the tree that they were commanded not to eat of, right? So keep that in mind. Now let's look at this. So we start from verse 27. For I know your rebellion and your stiff neck. Now we're going to look this up. Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day. Now this is Moses telling them, he's just the prophet of Yah. And he's telling them, for I know your rebellion and your stiff neck. Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day, you have been rebellious against Yahuwah. And how much more after my death? Now, if you was rebellious while I was alive, of course you're gonna do it after my death. And guys, to be honest with you, so many people focus on the man instead of focusing on getting it right with Yah. And so many put Moshe in the place of Yahuwah that it hindered their walk. That's why they rebelled when Moshe was up on the mountain with Yahuwah, when he was going to get the 10 Commandments, and he communed there 40 days and 40 nights. Well, they thought Moshe ain't coming back. But if they was in patience and waited and submitted themselves to Yah, right? Just submitted themselves to Yah and let him guide it and direct their thoughts, and put the thought of the thoughts of their imagination under him, and let him take over those strong. Because when they said, let us build us a calf, this will be, and they begin to proclaim that this calf was the Elohim that brought them out of Mitzrayim, and they begin to proclaim, that this is the feast of Yahuwah. Like they begin to merge paganism with faith. And so we can't merge that and with worship of Yah, right? We can't, and that's what happened with the Roman Catholic Church. They came in and they blended their pagan ways in with Christianity, and that's where the church began to take a nosedive, because slowly but surely it began to implement a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos. And then from there, denominations and different things came about, and it just caused more division than unity. And so when we're in rebellion, it opens up a door for Hasatan to come in, because remember, his nature was rebellious. He was a liar from the beginning, and when he rebelled, he brought 1/3 of the angels with him. And so therefore, it's the same way with any man. When we begin to rebel, and we're not under the guidance and leadership of Yah, our DNA is automatically turned into that of what Hasatan is, and that's wickedness, evil, darkness is not of Yah. And so that's why we see Yahusha stand up and he said, I am the light, right? I am the light of the world. And any man that hears me, he would do my saying. And doing what he says, meaning that we also are witnesses of that light, but we bear are bearing or extensions of that light. And so being an extension of that light, I don't want to be one that is separated from that, right? So we have to be careful, because that's what rebelliousness do. It separates us. It is basically insurrection. It's insurrection against resurrection. I want resurrection versus insurrection, right? So you see right there, it said, for I know your rebellion and your stiff neck. Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day, ye have been rebellious against Yahuwah, and how much more after my death. Gather unto me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call the heavens and the earth to record against them, or to witness against them. So if you notice, Moshe is always calling the heavens and the earth to witness against them. And that's very serious. The heavens and the earth is the creation of Yah. And remember, in the beginning, Yah created the heavens and the earth. So the first two things recorded or to testify of Yah being the creator is the heavens and the earth. Look at that now. Now let's look here at the Blue Letter Bible as we try to do a description of these two verses. All right. So you got verse 27. All right. And Moses called unto it went back up. All right, verse 27. I know thy rebellion. So let's look at that. Oops. All right. So it said, I know thy rebellion, right? Look at that word, rebellion. Is Mary, right? Miri, bitterness, right? Bitterness. Wow. Figuratively rebellion, concretely bitter or rebellious. And when we seem to not agree with what other people, how some things that is revealed to other people through the Spirit and things like that. That's why we have to test the Spirit by the Spirit, because automatically we will become rebellious in a sense, to where it's like, oh, man, I don't believe what he's saying, and I don't want to hear that. But there's times where we had to stop and we had to pray about things. Now, Yah will give you a confirmation if it's on the right track, but if it's not, then it ain't that. it ain't that you become rebellious, it's that you try to bring it to that brother or sister like, hey man, I prayed about it and this is what, this is what was given to me. And sometimes a brother will hear you out, and sometimes they'll decide to, go about it their own way. And y'all will prove whether what that person is telling you to do, because and what I mean is, like, when we was in the church, we will be told, that we were told about the Christmas, putting up a Christmas tree, and me and Tameka were like, well, we're not in agreement with that. You know what I mean? It wasn't that we were rebelling. It was because we wanted to make sure, right, that our face is still good before y'all. I'm not concerned about what man thinks. You know what I mean? That, like, they were like, well, this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna come together, we're gonna get gifts, and we're gonna do that. So me and Tameka opt out of stuff like that. And they were like, well, you're one of the leaders here, part of the office or whatever you call it. And they were like, well, y'all need to be a part of it. And we were like, no, we're not, and so it's not rebellion when you're going against like when man is teaching you a doctrine and it's not of Yah, you know what I mean? You speak out against it, and that to them is rebellion. But when you know that it's not of Yah and you bring it, you're trying to help others come to the knowledge of the truth. Now, the rebellion that we're looking at here is when you just completely are just totally in opposition against what Yah's word says to do, right? When you're totally in opposition and you don't want to hear Yah. This is the type of rebellion that we're talking about. And we see this in our nation, where so much is taking place to the point where they think that they're rebelling against Trump, but they're not. They're rebelling against Yah. And because remember when Samuel said they rejected me, he said they did not reject you, they rejected me, right? They rejected me from being their king. So we always discuss and we talk about Trump, we talk about the different politicians and stuff, but we have to recognize that it's Yah that is really set and established those positions. So he said, and thy stiff neck, kasha, right? Kasha, hard, cruel, severe, stubborn. So in other words, they're stubborn, right? Grievous, hard-hearted. And remember Pharaoh, right? Whenever he told him to let him go, he became hard-hearted. He was stubborn. He didn't want to follow through. He didn't want to follow through. And think about it like this: a hard heart will put you in a position that you don't need to be in, right? Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day, ye have been rebellious, right? You have been rebellious. Now, the word changes a little bit here. It's mara, instead of Mary, right? Mara. So it's to be contentious. Now, we see that in circles, right? In our community, where people are contentious with one another. And then you just have some trolls that, that come in and they just attacking for no reason. Now, you do have some that are rebellious. Instead of taking the time to study the word for themselves, they are quick to come up and go, just go against that ain't that. And, or like, for instance, where you hear people go, just destroying Paul. You know what I mean? They have contentions with his teachings. And then it becomes, this side is for Paul and this side is not for Paul. Well, Paul, I'm pretty sure when he was writing his letters, he never intended for his letters to cause contention. But something that I noticed is when the Ruach, right, when the spirit of truth is in operation, not saying that it causes contention, but the contention comes because you have those that are not of the spirit and truth, and then you have those that are of the spirit and truth, and those that are being led of the spirit and walking in the truth, right? It's always gonna seem like they're in opposition to what the world has to offer, like the doctrines of devils. And so that's why when people come in to hear Paul, they automatically just assume that he's destroying the Torah. Like, yo, and so they say that it was done away with. Like, you don't have to. So you have people that don't even look in the Old Testament at all, but only thing that they have to read is the New Testament. So therefore, if they're only reading the New Testament, that's why you hear preachers say, and Jesus was writing in the dirt when they brought the woman upon him, and nobody knows what he was writing. But if you know Torah, then you know what he was writing. You know what he was writing in the sand, and you know what was going to come after that, because you know that now if you brought the man and the woman, they both have to drink of that what you call, and the substance that they would make, it'll be bitter water and whatever he wrote in there, right? It's in Leviticus. It breaks it down, but since they don't read Leviticus, they don't know, and so therefore there go where the contentions build, because now, Paul don't know, Paul, you could discard him. Well, to discard him is to discard the very words of Yahweh. He said that this man will suffer many things for my name's sake. You know what it took to get those books wrote? Like, that man went through some stuff, and at the time he probably didn't write them. He probably spoke them, and somebody else was scribing them. But I mean, I hope this make a whole lot of sense to y'all about knowing that, and it causes bitterness. It could cause bitterness. It could cause content in the camp, and you don't want that. Don't want to be like Korah, right? Korah and Dathan, where they was, bringing up all these different accusations against Moses and Aaron, and all, like, we're Levites too, we're holy, we're all of us holy. And then when the time came, well, what happened? They will swallow in the earth, and the people heard them, heard the voice of them crying out that they needed help, because they were going to their death. They were swallowed whole alive, right? And it's because they brought rebelliousness. They had a rebellious heart. What happened to the sons of Aaron? That, remember the two sons that brought the strange fire before the tent, right? Before the tabernacle, and they automatically died because they was in rebellion. They had their heart was in rebellion. They wasn't doing what was properly instructed of them to do. And so when we do it any other way, then that's rebelliousness. You're going to do it your own way instead of the instructions that I gave. That's what his Torah is for. It's instruction. And so to cast his Torah out, the prophets out, or anybody, any of the scripture, just to cast it out and cast it away and say, this isn't needed, then, right there's room for contention. Right. So that's something that we have to be very, very aware of. And I hope this is making sense to y'all. Now look here. I stiff neck, yet alive, rebellious, Yahuwah, much more after my death. So look at that word death, mave, right? And we know what he's talking about. He's talking about when he dies, or when he's taken from the earth. So now he said, gather unto me all the elders of your tribes. So gather, kahal, to assemble. Need to assemble the elders. Elders. Oh, I am not doing none of the Strong's I can. That's Strong's H2205. Those that elders of those having authority. It doesn't necessarily mean an older person, but somebody that is mature and able to take an office and make, righteous decisions without just, going by just because somebody said, and you just do it, And that gather is Strong's H6950. Death is H4194. And rebellious is H4784. And rebellion is H4805. Right? So it said tribes. That's Strong's H7626. Shabet, right? Shabet. So it could be clan or tribe. But look, truncheon scepter, mark of authority. Mark of authority. Wow. And your officers, right? So shoter, right? Shoter. Basically somebody that's an official. So it could be a prophet, it could be the priest, it could be, it doesn't just mean people that are like, in the army or men of war, but it could also mean like offices that people have. And like you might have a scribe, it just depends on what your trade is, right? That I may speak these words. So speak Strong's H1696. Now look, these words H1697. So they're off by one number. Debar, right? Debar. Speak, declare, converse, promise, warn, threaten. So he gives warning before destruction, right? Yeah, so that I may speak these words. Now look at this. Daba, right? Daba. So it's one off. Speech, word, speaking, thing, utterance. In other words, what I am uttering to you, the words that I am giving in their ears. Now remember, we talked about this with Ozen, right? Ozen, and now we talk about the ears of the heart to be able to hear in the Ruach. And I think this is the problem that they had. They were more, they looked at things naturally versus seeing things spiritually. And I think Yahusha made it so clear for people to understand that Yah is a spirit. He's to be worshipped in spirit and in truth, right? So Ood, that's Strong's H5749. To return, to repeat, to go about, do again, to testify, bear witness, to give a warning. So he always gives us warning before destruction, right? So he calls heaven and earth to record, right? I just did that one. So I call, so it's because they're going to bear witness, right? Heaven, Shemaim, heaven, and earth, Strong's H776, Eretz, right? The earth, to record, Strong's, and that's the same word, Ood, H5749. So he calls it, right? To give a warning. But to bear witness in this sense. So when he said I call, he's saying I give you a warning, right? Or I call the heaven and the earth. In other words, I bring this to the attention so that these two are my witnesses. Two witnesses, the heaven and the earth. Wow. Oops. So now let's look at some of these references. So for Deuteronomy chapter 31:27, let's look at this. Deuteronomy chapter 9. Deuteronomy chapter 9. Starting from verse 7. It says, remember and forget not how you provoked Yahuwah Eloheka to wrath in the wilderness. From the day that you did depart out of the land of Mitzrayim until you came unto this place, ye have been rebellious against Yahuwah. Also in Horeb, ye provoked Yahuwah to wrath, so that Yahuwah was angry with you to have destroyed you. When I was gone up into the mount to receive the sapphire stones, even the sapphires of the covenant which Yahuwah cut with you, right? Look what he said. He said, then I abode in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. I neither did eat bread nor drink. So look at what's going on there. He's rehearsing back to them what caused, the insurrection, the rebelliousness. And Yahuwah delivered unto me the 2 sapphire stones written with the finger of Elohim, and on them was written according to all the words which Yahuwah spoke with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days and 40 nights that Yahuwah gave me the 2 sapphire stones, even the sapphires of the covenant. And Yahuwah said unto me, arise, get you down quickly from hence, for your people which you have brought forth out of Mitzrayim have corrupted themselves. They are quickly turned aside out of the way which I command them. They have made them a molten image. Verse 13, furthermore, Yahuwah spoke unto me, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people, stubborn people, right? Let me alone that I may destroy them and blot their name from under heaven, and I will make of you a nation mightier and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mount, and the mount burned with fire, and the 2 sapphires of the covenant were in my 2 hands. And I looked, and behold, ye had sinned against Yahuwah Elohim, and he made you a molten calf. Ye have turned aside quickly out of the way which Yahuwah had commanded you. And I took the 2 sapphire stones and cast them out of my 2 hands and broke them before your eyes. And I fell down before Yahuwah at the first 40 days and 40 nights. I did neither eat bread nor drink water because of all your sins which ye sinned, and doing wickedly in the sight of Yahuwah to provoke him to anger. For I was afraid of the anger and hot displeasure wherewith Yahuwah was wroth against you to destroy you. But Yahuwah hearkened unto me at that time also. Verse 20. And Yahuwah was very angry with Aaron to have destroyed him. And I prayed for Aaron also at the same time. Look at that. And I took your sin, the calf which you made, and burnt it with fire, and stamped it and ground it very small, even until it was as small as dust. And I cast the dust thereof into the brook that descended out of the mount. And at Tavara, and at Masah, and at Kivrot Ha-Tava, ye provoked Yahuwah to wrath. Likewise, when Yahuwah was sent to you, right? When Yahuwah sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, go up and possess the land which I have given you, then rebelled against the commandment, right? They then rebelled against the commandment of Yahuwah, and ye believed him not, nor hearkened to his voice. So this is what he was talking about earlier when he said, for I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck. Behold, while I am yet alive this day, you have already been rebellious against Yahuwah, right? So he rehearsing several things here. Verse 24, ye have been rebellious against Yahuwah from the day that I knew you. Thus I fell down before Yahuwah 40 days and 40 nights, as I fell down at the first, because Yahuwah had said he would destroy you. I prayed therefore unto El Yahuwah and said, O Adonai Yahuwah, destroy not your people and your inheritance, which you have redeemed from your greatness, which you have brought forth out of Mitzrayim with a mighty hand. He was intercessing. Look, guys, he said in verse 27, remember your servants Abraham, Yitzchak, and Jacob. Look not unto the stubbornness of this people, nor to their wickedness, nor to their sin. Wow. He definitely interceded on behalf of them, because just through that, he named like 2 or 3 different times where they rebelled. And he said, you were rebellious from the time that you came out of there. Now look at another one. Second Chronicles chapter 30, verse 8. Right? Second Chronicles chapter 30, verse 8. Look what it says. Now be ye not stiff-necked as your fathers were, but yield yourselves unto Yahuwah and enter into his sanctuary, which he has sanctified forever, and serve Yahuwah Elohim, that the fierceness of his wrath may turn away from you. That it may turn away from you. Check out what Isaiah has to say. Our brother Isaiah. Look what he says. He said, Isaiah chapter 48, verse 4. He said, because I knew that you are obstinate and your neck is an iron sinew and your brow brass, right? He said your neck is an iron sinew. It basically saying it's stiff. You ain't have no flexibility in it because you're rebellious. You're stubborn. You don't want to, you don't want to submit yourself. You want to be always right, and we always had that attitude where I'm right, you're wrong. But what right is it? Is it Yah's form of good, or is it our form of good? Is it Yah's form of righteousness, or is it our form of righteousness? So we have to be careful with that. We have to be very careful with that. Let's look at Acts chapter 7, verse 51. Our brother Stephen, right? Our brother Stephen preaching the gospel, and they still stoned him to death, right? And he's going back and he's rehearsing to them from the beginning and all the way up to the time of Yahusha, right? Look what he said in verse 51 of Acts chapter 7. He said, ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, ye do always resist the Ruach HaKodesh. As your fathers did, so do ye. And that's the problem. Like I said, they wasn't hearing with their heart, from the ear of their heart. Now, I want to show y'all something about that word heart. Let me bring it up real quick. Let me see if I can find the word in one of these over here. All right, let me see. I think I got it up here. Find it real quick, because I be looking at words and I be like, yeah, I like the way that you set this stuff up. Like he's awesome. Because remember, we're supposed to meditate upon the word with our heart. Let's see, I got Tameka's thing here. Let me find it. Okay, so I'm gonna share this with y'all. Y'all know this was what she did yesterday. But look at this word heart, right? If you got the word here in the word heart, but look what else you got, guys. You got the word ear in the word heart. Y'all was giving us a subliminal message right there. He was saying you had to hear with your ear of your heart. Oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Those little things that he give us is such an encouragement. I mean, look at that. So you have the word here and you have the word heart right there. I mean, ear and here in the word heart. So look at that. So keep that in mind. Bear that whenever you get the, thinking. So now all those were references to verse 27 where he talked about them being rebellious and stiff-necked. Now, right here where he said, gather unto me the elders of your tribes. Look at verse, let's follow that. Deuteronomy chapter 30. Go a verse back. Chapter back. Deuteronomy 30, verse 19. It says, I call the heavens and the earth to witness against you, or record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both you and your seed may live. So right there is talking about the heaven and earth, again being a witness. So it's 3 different times that they call heaven and earth to witness against them. Maybe more than that. I know it was a couple times that they call heaven and earth to witness against them, right? And now you got Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 26. Deuteronomy 4 and 26. Let's go there. It said, I call the heavens and the earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land whereunto ye go over the Jordan to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. And he's talking about, when they go rebelling and causing provoking him to anger, this is what's going to happen to them. Because now let's go to Second Chronicles. Back to Second Chronicles, and this time we're going to go to verse 36. Oh, I'm sorry, chapter 36, verse 15 or 14. Watch this, guys. It says, moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgress. Now, these are the officers, right? All the chief of the priests and the people transgress very much after all the abominations of the heathen and polluted the house of Yahuwah, which he had hallowed in Yerushalayim. Remember, he said his name there. And Yahuwah Elohai, their father, sent to them by his messengers, rising up early and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. But they mock the messengers of Elohim, and guys, that's what happened. They mock us in rebelliousness. They mock us, and some of them is in ignorance, but some of them know who Yah. But they mock us, right? When you're sent as a messenger of Elohim, and it says they despised his words and misused his prophets until the wrath of Yahuwah rose against his people till there was no more remedy. You see that? So there was no more remedy. Therefore, he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees, who slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary, and had no compassion upon the young men or maiden, old man, or him that stooped for age. Basically, anybody that was very old. He gave them all into his hand, and all the vessels of the house of Elohim, great and small, and the treasures of the house of Yahuwah, and the treasures of the king, and his princes, all these brought to Babel. And they burnt the house of Elohim and broke down the wall of Jerusalem and burnt all the palaces thereof with fire and destroyed all the goodly vessels thereof. And them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babel, where they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of the kingdom of Persia. To fulfill the word of verse 21, to fulfill the word of Yahuwah by the mouth of Yahuwah, until the land had enjoyed her Sabbaths. For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Sabbath to fulfill 70 years. And that's because they rebelled against his instructions. He told them to let the land rest, every 7th year, and they didn't. And so now that wasn't the only thing they transgressed. They transgressed everything. Their offices. They transgress. The king even transgressed what he was supposed to be doing. He's supposed to walk in righteousness so that it could lead the people to walk in righteousness. But when the king rebels, well, it puts the rest of the nation into rebelliousness. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's look what Isaiah chapter 1 verse 2 says. Isaiah chapter 1 verse 2. It says, hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yahuwah has spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. I took care of them, but they rebelled against me, right? So I don't want to be that child. I want to be the one that, is grateful for what he's doing for me. Let's look at Micah chapter 6, verse 2. It says, hear ye, O mountains, Yahuwah's controversy, and ye strong foundations of the earth. If you think about the mountains, they extend into the heavens and the foundations of the earth, right? For Yahuwah has controversy with his people, and he will plead with Yasharel. Yah is right now letting us know that he has a controversy with the people of the land. And I want to be on the side that is recognizes his anger and in submission to him. I do not want to be, I do not want to be in rebellion against Yah when he decides to come and lay the smack down right on everyone. So I want to be on the right side. Guys, I tell you, it's been a blessing and an awesome study. We should be finishing up this week and moving into chapter 32, which we will begin to read about the song, right, of Moses. And if you remember, we talked about the song of Moses It's in the book of Revelation. And so it's a lot that comes with that. And so we have to really take our time to study. And the book of the Song of Moses, I think is going to be a good intense study to go on. So guys, just prepare yourselves, get ready. We got 2 verses left in this chapter, and as we finish it up, we're gonna finish strong. We're gonna continue to be encouraged, and we're gonna continue to encourage one another. So guys, as always, I ask that if you're enjoying the teaching, that when you hear the sound of the shofar, hit that like button. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So guys, I truly thank y'all for joining up. As always, it's been a pleasure to serve alongside each and every one of y'all. And I just ask that you pray all our strength in Yahuwah. And guys, always remember, I love you. Yahuwah loves you. Don't forget to say, thank you, Yahusha. Love you guys. We'll be talking soon.